Hello and welcome to F.U.Tube, the segment that has had less impact on big business than this podium. First up, we have an FU from Sam, who
just returned from Japan.
I speak a little Japanese myself. Konnichiwa, watashi no me yage no sakana no boshi desu. And he took some travel advice from his bank.
On the advice of the NAB, this was the only credit card I took.
Well, that makes sense because it says traveller card. Anata wa kanmina kyabetsu non enpisu desu.
4 days into the holiday, I used it to check into a hotel.
4 days in? Must have been a long line at customs. Anyway, the hotel took a $300 pre-authorisation on Sam's card, presumably in case he ate 2 chocolate bars and a beer from the minibar. When it took a while for the money to reappear, Sam called NAB Card Services, who,
in no uncertain terms, told me that I shouldn't be using this card for hotels.
Turns out that on this traveller card, hotel pre-authorisations take 30 days to refund, which is longer than on a normal credit card. But hey, it's not like hotels and travelling go together.
Hotels and travelling, they go together.
Yeah, actually, I'm coming around to your view. You are one kenmina potetekeki. Hey, that's not what I said.
Yes, it is. You can barely speak English. Leave Japanese alone.
Sorry, Kumi. Here's a furo.
You just called me a knee bath, you idiot.
Maybe that's what I meant. Knee bath. Anyway, Sam, you have to be careful with this kind of thing. I mean, one website claims...
For a travel card, it can take longer for the funds to appear back on your card. Because of this, it's usually better to use a credit card for pre-authorisation.
Of course, the NAB rep who recommended you use a travel card probably didn't have access to that kind of info, which is only available at...
NAB Help and Guidance.
Oh, okay. So we asked NAB if people were made aware of this when they signed up for the traveller card. And they pointed out it was in the product disclosure statement here and in the user guide here. So does this fine print trump what's said by the person selling the card? As we know, when you're sold a good, like a splash protector for your hair or a privacy scarf or an ear enhancer, they have to perform as described by the seller and have to be fit for purpose, whatever the hell that is. Sam's debit card also has to be fit for purpose as both a service and as a financial product. So given it was sold to him on the basis of being the only card he should take overseas, to be fit for purpose, you would think it would be suitable for things you do overseas, like, checking into hotels. And to overcome that presumption, the bank would need to do a whole lot more than fling the buyer a 40-odd page document that no one would read unless they had a privacy scarf. Which is how we also found this bit.
NAB staff may receive an incentive, gift voucher, film tickets, restaurant meals up to the value of $50 for selling or reloading an NAB traveller card.
And it also says it could be a factor considered in their annual bonus. So you have to be careful with banks because they can anata o neji. Yep, looks like I got that one right. By the way, last series Scott also did a story on travel cards and found that they may not be the best choice.
The exchange rates travel cards offer are on average between 4 and 5% worse than standard credit or debit card rates.
NAB traveller cards came in for special attention in that story too.
Contacted NAB, but after about 10 emails and 2 or 3 phone calls, eventually they agreed they'd misled me. They offered me $750, which I accepted.
It's good advice for you too, Sam. If you think NAB made a misrepresentation to you, you should contact them, often and repeatedly. Or contact the Financial Ombudsman Service. And remember, if any of you are about to make a purchase or enter into contract and you find yourself saying,
I think the checkout did a story on this, but all I can remember is that there was a horse and a duck.
you can find most of the stories on the Checkout's YouTube page, so you can clarify the details. Just remember to double check them if the story's an old one.
You can imagine the shock I got when I received this bill for a whole penny. It just won't suffice.
And now to Ian, who went online to DWI Digital Cameras and
purchased the Sony Xperia Z3 because it was advertised on their website that it could be used underwater to take photos.
Yep, Ian thought that this phone could be used underwater. I mean, where on earth did he hear that rubbish?
Xperia Z3 has the world's best camera and camcorder in a waterproof smartphone.
Whoa! Wow, so waterproof phones are a thing. Finally, we can talk to the Dolphins. Dolphins are smart and pedants, but it's okay. That asterisk just says if used properly, they can be kept under 1.5 metres of fresh water for up to 30 minutes.
However, when I used it underwater for the first time in a chlorine pool, it broke.
Shut up, Dolphin. Anyway, Ian sent the phone back to DWI, asking for it to be fixed under warranty. And you know what? You're just taking Ian's lines now. But yes, they refused, saying,
"We do indeed stat that we do not cover water damage."
Repetitive and unconvincing. So Ian went back to them and quoted more parts of the consumer law than a checkout story. And in response, DWI had the temerity to email him an article that said,
"A significant number of people are finding that their phones are failing in the wet and that Sony is not supporting them."
I'm not sure pointing to other people being let down by Sony makes it okay for you to let people down.
In my client's defence, when he punched that guy, it was not illegal, for he had already punched many other people.
Not guilty.
Now, the fact that Sony may not be fulfilling their responsibilities under the consumer law doesn't get DWI off the hook. Representations made at the time of sale by the manufacturer or the seller are binding. So what did DWI represent? Well, this is their website now. No reference to underwater usage at all. But strangely, this is what DWI's website looked like when Ian bought his phone.
Dive into the pool on a sunny summer holiday, take pictures underwater.
See, DWI, you can't delete things from the internet. Just ask the Aaron McGurd girl. We asked DWI if they stood by the waterproof nature of the phone and if they would adhere to the consumer law. And they didn't get back to us, but a few hours later, they told Ian they would fix his phone. Now to a dog of a story from someone who received this letter from her pet insurance company.
Dear Anonymous, condolences on the passing of Anonymous dog.
Good start, formal but sincere.
We understand the sense of loss we all feel as pet lovers.
Getting some emotion in, keep it up.
We need to remind you, however, that your AFS PetMed policy is an annual policy.
Not sure that info is crucial to the grieving process.
And we will continue to collect your remaining instalments.
You're making them pay an insurance policy after their dog is deceased?
Once again, please accept our sympathies during this difficult time.
Too late! In short, even though she'd had pet insurance for 10 years, she still had to pay for her 6 extra months insurance after the dog died just because she claimed the cost of the euthanasia. Now that is ridiculous, especially because this guy would have euthanized them for free. Now, we've been in contact with PetMed, and the good news is they've already changed this policy so that
on the death of their beloved pet, they could cancel their policy and no further premiums would need to be paid.
Bravo! Although not all their customers are covered by this new policy yet.
By July 1, 2015, all customers should have renewed their policies in line with these new terms.
So if you're one of those that hasn't renewed yet, make sure you keep your dog alive under any circumstances, even if that's not strictly the case. And that's the end of F.U.Tube. Please send us your tip-offs. We're waiting to hear from you.